How would you say that we will no longer use our brain, but machine will be the one thinking for us? How would you say we will no longer line up to buy CDs to watch movies, but just at the comfort of my house, I can pick up my phone and I'm Netflix? That simply means that the abnormal of yesterday is the normal of today, and the normal of tomorrow is the abnormal of today. And the people who were abnormal yesterday are the one who owns today. So if you want to own tomorrow, you choose to be abnormal today. Where we are currently, the things we are used to was something that was weird far back in the days. And just in case you don't understand what I'm saying, there was a time where AI was cringe, where cryptocurrency was something that sounded crazy. How do you say we would move all our finances to be digital? In those days, I tell you, it's abnormal. As a matter of fact, every single thing that currently we are so used to were things that people fought against. Stuffs like using cars. Do you know at some point using cars was not a thing? You agree with that, right? Such that people who were in the business of horses, before cars, they were using horses. They were like, this can't work, it's stupid. How do you say I will entrust my life in a machine? Horses are the thing. You can't take it out of place. But what is happening now? Who uses horses? Is now if you use horses, what would they say? You're weird. And that's why we said unconventional thinking. And I gave it something. I said playing it safe is the riskiest move you will ever make. Because the people who actually make a difference are people who think, when you hear the word think outside the box, they're trying to say that, hey, you have to think beyond what people are saying. And it's not our fault, right? It's not our fault. Because the issue is that we are so used to what our environment has defined what business is. We are used to what our environment have defined what a vision is, what goal setting is. As much you agree with me that the success of your business is determined by the success of your mind, right? How successful you are upstairs. Whatever you are seeing in every successful business is as a result of the mindset of that man, right? So you look at Elon Musk and look at Tesla. Do you guys follow Elon Musk at all? Did you see what he do to his cars? He has a feature in one of his cars that you can press a button and then a particular seat would fart. So. Is that normal? He has very crazy features. And guess what? Tesla does not have a marketing team. Why? Because as abnormal as it is already marketing itself on its own. Why? Because this guy has decided, and the funny thing? The funny thing is that Tesla is an automobile, right? It's a car. But it doesn't compete with automobile industries. Tesla makes lesser units than likes of their Toyota and Honda. But the value of Tesla at the end of the day, it surpasses the people who are making it in bulk. Why? Because one man understood. There's a word called arbitration. And arbitration simply means that our mind is, habitat is from the word habitat, meaning everybody has where they feel comfortable in, right? So our mind is designed or programmed in such a way that it wants to get used to the normal. As a matter of fact, if you will notice, right, this used to happen to me so many times, right? When I used to school outside Jos. When I come back to Jos, everywhere looks different. But people who are in that environment sees it as normal. So they are passing a particular environment every day. Every single day, and changes are happening, buildings are rising, but they are not used. Why? Because the brain just wants to be used to the normal. Okay, I wake up, I pass this road, and because the brain wants to be used to the normal, right? If you keep on giving people the normal, they won't see it as different. So you want to start a business, right? You want to be a fashion designer, you want to be a tech guy. And you want to advertise it the way it has been advertised before. Nobody will place value on it more than how they see other people place value on it. So if you want your skill or your product to be more valued, then you have to present it in a different way. Because gone are the days where there are new things. At some point there was the first aeroplane, right? At some point there was the first car. But if anybody wants to make a car now, can he make the first car? No, he has to make the first different car. So habituation tells us that the mind is used to the normal, and if you want to catch the attention of the mind, you bring something unusual, you bring something abnormal. And that is why we are talking about unconventional thinking. That is the edge that we all have as entrepreneurs. To catch, all right, so a particular research was done, right? So they picked a rat. You guys know what a maze is, right? A maze. There'll be different roads, but we just want endpoint. You've seen something like that, different routes. So they call it a maze. So they picked the rat and put it at the beginning of the maze, and then they put a cheese at the end of the maze. Now, the moment they dropped the rat at the beginning of the maze, the rat's brain cells tightened. It became sharp, and he started thinking, he started smelling. It became very active, and then he was trying to find his way because he was looking for a cheese. And then finally, he got to the cheese and he ate it. And then they picked that rat again, and then they put another cheese at the end, and they placed it at the beginning of the maze. And the moment they dropped that rat at the beginning of the maze, remember, he had already figured out the way to the cheese. Immediately they dropped it at the beginning of the maze, the rat's brain cells was practically inactive. Why? Because he already knows where to go to. So the same way, if you want to attract customers and you're attracting them with something that they're already used to, they can't see it differently. So you're trying to give them a price that is different, and they're wondering, but this is the normal. This is what we are used to. What difference are you actually even bringing? And that is why the change makers are those who are unconventional in thinking. And that is what we're going to be talking about today. Are we excited? So, I want us to first of all start with the very basics. Because before you become unconventional in thinking, first of all, you need to know where you are as an entrepreneur. And over the years, I've been trying to study the different cadres that business owners, entrepreneurs, and career people can find themselves, the different levels of entrepreneurship. And this is just going to be one of the things I want to just talk about, so that we understand. When I teach this, you will know where you are as an entrepreneur, so that from there you know where to pick up your thinking from. Are we together? Are we excited? Now you want to write. So I call this a paper is just going to be shared now. All right. So if you're watching, this is going to be displayed on your screen, right? Is what I call the value quadrant, right? The value quadrant. Now, this quadrant helps you as an entrepreneur or a business owner to know where you stand, to know where you are at, so that you do not mix things up, so that you do not get it twisted. So, I'm sure maybe you might have heard of ESBI, the 4 financial quadrants by Robert Kiyosaki. It says there's employed, there's self-employed, there's business owner, and there's investor. But I was able to go further in my research, right? To not only determine where you are as an entrepreneur, but to determine what brings you value and what you should focus on each quadrant. Are we together? Are we together? I need your response. So that you know where you are at as an entrepreneur and where to focus on. So the first role that you can find yourself, or the beginning of every single entrepreneur's journey, starts with what is called the professional. So that is the point where you just got a skill. You're good at something, right? So for Samuel, he's good at graphics designing. For Emma, he's good at shoemaking. For Gideon, is good at ads running, social media marketing. For Femi, he's good in tech. For Daniel, is also good in tech. For Dara, she's good in writing. For Ashley, she's good in creating events. So this beginning stage is what is called the professional, and so many people are in the professional stage, but yet they are calling themselves entrepreneurs, right? It's not a bad thing. That is where we envision to be, but it's good to know where you are, right? So the first stage is what is called the professional stage, and at this stage you are employed, right? You are employed. So you get a skill and you want to monetize that skill, right? You want to work for somebody. So that is the first level, and it's advisable to always start from this level, because there are certain things that you will learn at this stage that you cannot learn elsewhere. I used to tell people, it's good to learn a skill on YouTube, but there's something about going to a shop, sitting under somebody. The discipline is beyond the skill. And that's what differentiates the Igbo tribe from every other person. You see this thing called mentorship, this thing called apprenticeship. Oh my God, it sets people light years farther than others. You think you can sit down with YouTube and learn the skill, fine and good, but you see, there's something about time management, there's something about people relation, there's something about customer approach that you cannot learn from YouTube. You can only learn when you sit down in front of a boss and he's giving you orders. As a matter of fact, you can be with that boss for 1 year and you do not even learn any other skill aside these set skills. So this professional stage, I needed to just emphasize on the fact that it's also important. Are we together? It's also very important. And at this phase, what measures your success, what I wrote here, is performance. How good you are at that particular job. How quick you are to deliver the design. Your performance is the most important thing in this particular column, because as a professional, what they want to know is how fast can you deliver the job and how good are you at it. And what is the goal of an unconventional thinker in this phase, right, is to maximize your skill and value. Ensure you are working on your skill, learning the things that you cannot learn on YouTube. That's the first one. So, do anybody recognize him or herself in the professional level? If you are there, just put that in mind so that as we go through, you know where you are at. The second one is the self-employed. Now, the self-employed person is the person who has decided to move it a step further. Now, this is the person who says, I don't want to work with a boss again, because after a couple of years, I think I've picked up the skill now, and now I want to do it on my own. For example, probably when you started the laptop stuff, right, you were working with somebody, and then all of a sudden you say, okay, now I actually want to have a brand of my own. Now you've moved up from being a professional to being self-employed. That simply means, in the word, you've employed yourself. Do you understand? You've employed yourself. Now, at this stage, what is important is not your performance. By the way, I forgot to mention something. Who determines, because I call it a value quadrant. What determines your value, right, in the level of professional is a person. Are we together? So it's one person that will tell you how much your work is worth. You can't argue it. Are we learning something today? So, in the level of a professional, is a person that will determine your value. You cannot decide and wake up and say, no, this is how much you pay me. No. You are picking up the skill. So, it is a person that determines what you are paid. It's a person that determines your value. And how to gain more value in this quadrant is to perform more. Are we together? Now, we go to the second one, self-employed. In the self-employed, what determines your value is the product, the service, or the skill. The product, your time, your service. So, at this stage now, you've decided that, no, I'm no longer a professional. Now, I want to be a self-employed. Now, what I want to do is to ensure that I am presenting my product or presenting my service at an optimum level, such that people are willing to pay for it. Are we together? You know, initially, what was giving you money was the person you were working for. Now, what is giving you money is the product and the service you are offering. Do we follow? Yeah. Do we understand? Are we learning? All right. Now, the factor that determines or that measures your success here is the profit you place on that particular product. Right? The profit you place on that particular product. So, if you determine that while you were working for your boss, you were being paid 10K per month. Now that you want to self-employ yourself, you can decide that 10K, I can make it in a week. Why? Because you will increase the quality of your product. At this stage, what is important is the excellence of your work. How good you're doing it. So as the product becomes better, your value becomes better. So what determines your value in this stage is your product. And what measures your success is your profit. Now, what you want to do is to increase or maximize the rate of your value. Now, the next one is the business owner. Now, you might be wondering, what then is the difference between a self-employed and a business owner? Do anybody have that question? What then is the difference between a self-employed and a business owner? Very simple. What determines your value as a business owner is not a product, but the process. What that simply means is that beyond the people who are coming, beyond the products you are offering, there is now an entire process around that particular business. Are we together? As a self-employed, you alone, you are running the marketing, you are running the sales, you are running the delivery, you're running everything. But a business owner has set up a system and a process around that thing. Do we understand? Such that you go to Vicky James' shop and you're not seeing Vicky James one-on-one, but you're just because of the entire process around our business, you are placing value on the process, not the product. Do we follow? Meaning they are not charging you based on how much the product is worth. They are charging you based on how much the process is worth. Because there's a lot of people ensuring that they are delivering optimally more than the self-employed. So a self-employed, whereas, is the one handling everything. It can't be as excellent as somebody who has just one person handling different things. Rather, have different people handling different things. Are we together? Sorry. Are we together? So, what is paid? What determines your value in this quadrant is not a person, is not a product, but is a process. Now, what you want to ensure you focus on in this quadrant is the experience you give to people. Why? Have you ever asked yourself what differentiates Mama Put and KFC? Mama Put, you can see the kitchen from where you are sitting. You can see the person doing the amala. But if you enter KFC, can you see that? No. You are seeing a gate man. From when you step up, a waiter is coming excellently dressed. You see somebody on the counter table. You see there's a restroom. There's a system, a process around just delivering that service. So at that rate, why KFC cannot charge what Mama Put is charging and theirs has to be higher is because there's an entire process around it. So that's what differentiates a business owner from self-employed. A self-employed can't give experience as much as a business owner. Because why? Now, the person is not thinking just me, he's thinking systems. There's one person in the HR, there's one person in the financial, just in bookkeeping, there's one person in delivery, there's one person in this, there's one person in that. So at this rate, Vicky James cannot charge what, or rather, which males this thing outfit person do we have? Shey Body cannot charge what the Angwa tailor is charging. Shey Body cannot charge what the Angwa or the Tina tailor is charging. Why? Because Shey Body now has an entire system and a process around his business, such that stepping into the building already, you know that I cannot dare open my mouth and say I'm looking for 10,000 naira clothes. Do you understand? Is it that the fabric or the sewing is not worth 10,000? No. They are not charging you for the product. They are charging you for the process. Are you guys getting something? So that is what sets apart self-employed from business owner. I'm sure I've answered that question you had already. Now, the next one is now entrepreneur. And that is where we all desire to be. Are we following? So you're asking, why are we now calling ourselves Young Entrepreneur Society? And it's because we speak what we want to be. We say where we want to go. Are we together? Now, an entrepreneur, you are wondering, okay, now, I thought all these people are entrepreneurs now. Not all of them. At least not yet. Because an entrepreneur, what determines the value of an entrepreneur is not a person, is not a product, is not a process. What is this person? I'm sure you didn't get that. If Sheivodi puts his label on the Angwa tailor's clothes, I tell you, they will buy it more than what he is selling it. Are we together? Or do you think it's Sheivodi that is sewing all the clothes by himself? Abi? Sorry. Is anybody going to food? You make. But you have a business around that. You joined. So now, very simple question. What you are charging now, right? Can KFC tell you to cook the same thing and sell the same price? Never. Why? They've slammed KFC on the rice. Have you seen some Louis Vuitton bag and don't understand what it looks like? But yet it's much more expensive than the one that they did 5 hours to sew. Why? Because it is no longer about the product. It's no longer about a person. It's no longer about the process, but the person. The name. And an entrepreneur is somebody who carries a name. Such that He cannot fail at any other thing again. Because now he has a track record of a person, he has the track record of a product, he has the track record of a process, and has gotten to a height whereby only his name is opening up doors. If you think I'm lying, you and Dangote's daughter start a business today. Start. Or try to apply for a grant with our governor's son and see who will win. Why? Is it that you do not have the process, or is it that you do not have the product? No. That is where we aim to be, and this is as a result of track record. You arrive at this height. That's why you hear names like Elon Musk. Today, do you know that the iPhone current model was totally hated when, not even current model, from like iPhone 12, iPhone 13, they've been complaining, even ever since they removed earpiece jackpot from iPhone. People have been hating it. And instead of putting the earpiece, what did they do? They created another product and did headset, did AirPod, and created another value from that. Is it because they do not care about the customers? No, they know that they have track record. Whether you like it or not, you will buy it. Have you seen how ugly some iPhones are or some phones are? We're still selling more than the ones that they put glass, put machine inside. It's not about the product, it's not about the process, it's about the person. And this is where we aim to be as entrepreneurs. Such that our name on a label. Why? Let's even look at basic example. I've been shooting content for how many years now? For over 2 years. I've been posting. But I tell you, the day me and Vusi Tembekwayo do a collaborative post, check the difference. I will have millions of views. Is it because I've not been saying what makes sense is? No. But now, someone's name must be attached to it. Why? Because he has track record. And this is the foundation I want us to get. This is the basics. Because if you do not understand where you are, I tell you, you cannot, there's no unconventional thinking for you. Because you don't even know where to think to, you don't know where to think from. Are we together? Did I help somebody? Alright, so now let's go back to the teaching. I just needed to do that so that we are back on track together. Remember, I said the master of the basics are the master of the game. Write that down. The masters of the basics are the masters of the game. The masters of the basics are the masters of the game. So if you do not know the basics, you cannot be good at the game. Why is there SS1? Why don't we just jump to SS1? It's because there is a level of quadratic equation you need to first of all know how to solve. Before you can solve binomials. Before you can solve some other kind of equations. Are we together? So that is why we needed to do that basic. The reason why we want to begin to think unconventionally, just like I said earlier, is because that is the only way we can get the attention of people. That is the only way we can make a difference as a business owner. That is the only way. And I'm going to be teaching three basic steps to thinking unconventionally. And we're going to be done with this teaching. Sharp. See, I don't waste time. 3 basic steps to thinking unconventionally. I can see Ashley smiling already. 3 basic steps or 3 basic approach you need to take to think unconventionally. So, we've established the fact that your mindset is a key player to how your business succeeds. Let me tell you a quick story. So, when they were about making the first ever flying machine, right, that's the aeroplane, there were 2 people that was in the race, Samuel Langley and the Wright brothers. Which one do you know? But guess what? Samuel Langley was the one who had the backing of the US government. Samuel Langley was the one who was given enough funds. Samuel Langley was the one that everybody knew. It was the one whose story was on the news that he was going to build the first ever flying machine. And despite the fact that Samuel Langley had all the opportunities, as a matter of fact, he had the big space, he had the big machines, he had everything that could help him succeed. Two brothers, just two brothers, in their garage, in their father's garage, where they sell bicycle parts, they're the one that made it happen. So I tell you, your environment is not a factor. As much as your environment, because this thing is very painful. It's very painful. You will give a Nigerian, let's not even go far. You will give a Jos person an idea and give a Lagos person the same idea, but they will do it differently. You will give a Nigerian an idea. You will give a Chinese boy, 12-year-old, the same idea. They will do it differently. Because they just know that my business or what I'm doing is not for the local audience, it's for the global audience. Why are we still thinking small? Why are we comfortable with small businesses? I'm a small business owner, Says who? Do you know how many years we've been doing shop? We've been doing provision store. Somebody just woke up and said shop right. Do you know how many? Oh Jesus, this is paining me. I have to read this one. I did a statistics. How long it takes for companies outside the shores of Nigeria to make $1 million? Say $1 million. Say $1 million. Do you know what $1 million is? It's over $1 billion naira. Just for context. 1.5 billion. It takes Netflix 1 hour 37 minutes to make $1 billion. $1 million. It takes Google 1 minute 60 seconds. As we are here talking about unconventional thinking, they've made over $10 million. It takes Walmart. You know Walmart? Another version of ShopRite. It takes them 48 seconds. Then the most crazy. Say the most crazy. It takes Meta 9 seconds. It takes Meta. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. $1 million. 1.5 billion naira. 1.5 billion naira. Like, wait. I think we need to settle on that. I said 9 seconds. I did not say 9 days. When I saw the stats, I'm like, boy, what are we doing? Hey, that's the small business. See, I'll not own small business. I will not. Oh, I refuse it. My children are my children. Because guess what? These are the old generation businesses. So. And we are still here. We are still here doing December sales. By the way, I have to teach this. There's something called semantic satiation. It simply says, how many of you have watched YouTube videos and here? Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Do you used to subscribe? Because the more you keep on, it's the meaning of semantic saturation is it simply says the more you keep on repeatedly hearing words, right? The more you do not have any drive to take any action on it. She said no wonder. Patronize your guest today. If you don't patronize your guest, I tell you they will not patronize you. I promise you. As a matter of fact, if you check YouTube videos, recently I did something. I uninstalled Instagram, I uninstalled Facebook, I uninstalled LinkedIn, I uninstalled all my social media apps. I'm on YouTube. I've installed TikTok since last year. I'm totally on YouTube. And I noticed that now they do not do the YouTubers that have sense. They do not do, please subscribe on our YouTube channel. Now they've changed it. Now they will bring statistics. They'll say, we've noticed that 70 million people are watching our videos and just 2 are subscribed. If you want to, why? They have to just, it's not as though they are saying anything different. It's just the wording. change the approach. I tell you, change the approach. I tell you, just change the approach. You will see the difference that you would make. Just change the approach. Just change the approach. It's called semantic satiation. And it's inherent in your brain. How many of you have ever picked up a word like make, and suddenly make is no longer making sense again? You're like, is that actually the spelling? Wait, what's the meaning? Have it ever happened to you? Why? Because that word has been said repeatedly in your brain. And that's why you hear, follow us for more. Nobody will follow. Why? Because it's the normal. So, what do you have to learn from this thing I just said? Just change the approach. From patronize us today, just say something different. I tell you, they will take notes. Just change the approach. Try it. Try it. Just try it. And it has been widely proven that every business owner that just did a slight change, just a slight change. Something happened. I had somebody I was mentoring in business few years ago. So she was doing a food business, right? She was also selling food and all of that. And she met me and said, a lot of people are not patronizing me. A lot of people. And she stays in the student area. She was selling for students. So I asked her, how much do you sell your food? She said, I sell a plate of rice. I'm not going to give figures, but she called a particular figure that was at least times two higher than what normal food vendors around the student area sell. So I told her, this is your problem. You have two options. You either bring down your price or you change your target audience. What does that mean? You either say, all right, I think I will no longer sell it for this amount, right? But I think I would find a way to ensure that, because you have two options as business owner, either you sell in bulk to everybody or you sell in few to the 1% of the world. You did not hear me. There are two different business owners we have. Two types. And Alex Moses still posted it this morning. There are two different types of people. Either you decide to sell to the 80% of the world, mass produce, or you decide to sell at a higher rate to the few 1% successful people. To the few 1% people who will buy it. And do you know the funny thing? If you sell it at that low price, those people that are meant to buy it in that high price, they will buy it in that low price. So what did she need to do? I just told her, yeah, change your target audience. And guess what? It has even been proven over the years by many business owners. As a matter of fact, I was watching a video yesterday, and she said something. She said, I was working with a particular business, and we realized that this business has been in function for a very long period of time, and they were about going bankrupt. And she just advised them that instead of making your product to everybody, how about just change the name from, I think they were a home service business, from home service business to luxurious. The only word they added was what? Luxurious home service. And what they made was way higher than what they were killing. And guess what? You even reduce the stress, because instead of mass producing to everybody, and some people's formula, and this is not for everybody, some people, your formula is to give everybody, and it works in the numbers. But if you know that the number is not working for you, how about you sell higher to selected few? And you know how people love when things are personalized to them? When they say this thing is just for students, this thing is just for coppers, this thing is just for this, I tell you, they will place value on it. Everybody loves what is not common, is not known, or is not common. Everybody loves it. If you see your shirt on Aboki's neck, will you wear it again? Pedro, that shirt I like, where I won't collect, will you wear it again? No. Because everybody loves exclusivity. If I'm going to the market today and I want to buy a particular shirt and it's in my head, and I see it on somebody, I will never buy it. It won't happen. Why? Because I want my own thing to be different. Everybody loves. So it is another thing you can, because see, I'm just spilling secrets. You pick it, you know, pick them, it's your choice. But I tell you, these are the things that make people different. These are the things that make businesses different. These are the things that make visions business. And the things I'm teaching here is not just for business owners. You can apply it to anything. You can apply it to anything. So instead of saying my organization, my NGO, is for all the masses, you just say my NGO is just. You can just say my NGO is just for the deaf people. I tell you, people will buy into it. Why? Because there's a target, there's a goal, there's a direction, specificity will always win. Yeah, it's a word now, isn't it? Why is that? Specificity will always win community. I don't know if that works, but specificity will always win general. It will win always. So let's quickly dive into the 3 things that you have to do to become an unconventional thinker. Number 1, you might want to write this down. Are we together? Are we enjoying this teaching? Are you serious? Are you going to come next month? Sure. All right. Number 1, curiosity. Number 1, curiosity. Now, curiosity is the first stage of being an unconventional thinker. Now, what does curiosity simply say? Curiosity simply says that you must be willing to always ask the question why. Are we together? Why are they doing business like this? Why is every cyber cafe owner doing cyber cafe like this? Femi. Why is every event guruing it this way? Because I tell you, if you are not willing to ask the question why, if you are not curious enough, you can't be unconventional. If you are not curious. And what curiosity helps you do is to find a reason why you should do what you are doing. And not a reason why you should do what everybody is doing. Curiosity is the first stage. It helps you figure out why. And there are 2 questions you want to ask. Why is it done this way? Why can't it be done this way? Are we together? Meaning, you want to know what other people have been doing. And you want to know what other people have not been doing. So, you didn't hear that? Did you hear that? You want to know what other people have been doing because it's important. And you also want to know what other people have not been doing. If you are curious enough, just be curious. I tell you a story. How many of you have heard of Ran oil? Ran oil. It's just like the way we have Wando, AA Rano. There's a particular brand too, a petroleum brand, called Ran oil. And he told a story of how he started. He said that the man, his name is, I can't really remember. And that Ran oil was gotten from the scriptures. He's a believer, ardent believer. So he said when he wanted to start his own petroleum business, right? Because there's money in oil. See, oil and gas is not only when you get to NNPC. There are some people who started from the scratch. So because I said we will no longer do small businesses does not mean you will not start from the beginning. Get the balance. So it was at that point he was working with a particular oil and gas company, and I might not be accurate with the figures, but I think as of then they were buying a tanker of petrol for 100,000 naira. I want you guys to pay attention to this too. Very important. They were selling a tanker of petrol for how much? 100,000 naira. Right? Just a rough estimate. And his job or his duty with that company was to ensure that they sell. Right? He was into marketing. They deliver the oil. And he noticed that after we deliver this oil, these people make a profit of at least 50 to 60 to 70,000 naira. That means I put in 100,000, I make 170. Right? And then at the end of the month, I hope you know they will not pay him up to half of what he's making for them. Hope you know that. No business owner will pay you. No business owner will pay you, no matter how good and honest they seem. No business owner who wants to make his brand successful will pay you. A few months ago, I was with somebody who wanted me to help put her through, understand finance, and I think that should be one of the teachings we should start doing. How to set price on your product. Maybe I should teach this quickly. You want to learn that how to set price. There are 3 things you need to do. Oh boy, I'm digressing so much, right? But are you guys enjoying this? 3 things you need to know that will determine what price you place on a particular product or a service. Number 1, usage. Now, usage simply means how many people are willing to use that particular product. It's very simple. How many people are using that particular product? Number 2, users. Usage. Now, the difference between usage and users is that usage is saying how frequently are people using it. Users is saying how many people are using it. Right? So, the usage of that product, meaning, for example, as an event guru, now, how many people are expecting my services and how excited are they about always seeing me give that service? That's usage. Then users is what is the amount of people that are willing to pay for that particular service? Are we together? Then number 3, value. So usage, users, and value. Those are the 3 things you use to determine the price you set on a particular thing. So the usage, for example, the app sector, tech guys now, if you want to build an app, you should even know this. The usage, meaning how frequent are people on that particular app. What determines the value of Facebook is how many hours people spend on it. Hope you know. How many hours? Not just only the amount of people on Facebook, the amount of hours people spend on it. And that's why the algorithm is designed in such a way that it knows you so much and knows all that you want so that you spend more time on it. So there's usage, there's users, and then there's value. So what we try to do is to just jump on value. My product, I travel, the transport I spend was this. It's not just value. It's not just value. So there's usage, there's users, and there's value. Now let's go back to what I was teaching. So Ran Oil, then his work was to ensure that he sell oil, right? And then he noticed that after the end of the day, they're not even paying me up to half of what I'm helping them make. So if I'm able to help them make this, it means in myself I can make this. Then what did he do? He gave them a resignation letter, gather 100,000, and bought his first. That was how he started. So he started from professional, went to self-employed. Self-employed became a business owner, or business owner. But all of this wouldn't have started if he wasn't curious enough to ask himself, so you are paying me this and I'm making you this, then it means I can make this for myself. But you see, the issue is that we are comfortable with where we are. We are satisfied with where we are too much, and it is killing us. It is. We are satisfied. We are not curious enough. They tell you that if you want to start a business now, you have to do social media. Who told you that is the only way? Aren't you curious enough? You have to be curious. See, if you're not curious, I tell you, you will remain where you are. You can't climb up that ladder. You will either remain at the professional level, or you remain at the self-employed level, or you remain at the business owner level, or you will remain okay, entrepreneur is good. You can remain here, no problem. But you have to be curious. And it's at this curiosity stage that you understand the reason behind what you're doing. Because I tell you, if you know the reason behind what you're doing, nobody can shake you. Nobody can convince you otherwise. Nobody can convince you otherwise. So the first thing you have to do is to be curious. Are we together? Now, curiosity, I said, would help you find what? Reason. Very important. Number 2. After curiosity, we have capacity. Say capacity. Say capacity. After curiosity, we have capacity. Curiosity would help you find the reason behind what you're doing. It will lead you to want to know, to want to gather information. So other people have been building apps this way. How about I do it this way? Other people have been doing business this way. Other people have been doing media this way. Am I curious enough? Do you know that is what these guys are using to drop money? Eh? That is it, oh. They are just curious. Wherever they are, they just want to see what is going on. Why is this like this? Why are they doing it this way? So that you learn two things: what to do or what not to do. My spiritual father, Pastor Sheni, he says whenever I go to any program or whenever I listen to any pastor, he learn either how to preach or how not to preach. Very simple. Very simple. You have to be curious. Number 2, capacity. Capacity here helps you figure out what you need to know. Whereas curiosity helps you figure out why, capacity helps you ask the question what. Curiosity helps you ask the question what, why. Capacity helps you ask the question what. What do you need to know? What do you need to know? So now that I am curious enough to ask questions, now I need to know my capacity. I need to know what I need to know, right? To become what I need to be. Let me say that again. I need to know what I need to know to become to figure out what I need to be. Because without knowledge, you can't build capacity. Without knowledge, you cannot build capacity. And capacity simply helps you create room for more. You can write that down. Capacity simply means creating room for more. I tell you a quick story. Two men went fishing. And when they got to the swimming pool, the person who was with the hook and line would throw, how they fish, right? With hook and line, not net. So he throws it, and then he brings out a fish, and then he throws it into a bucket. And sometimes he will pick it up and throw it back into the water. Sometimes he will leave some of the fish. Then his friend was wondering, this guy must be a genius. Is he seeing something inside this fish? How comes he's just removing some and putting some? Why is he doing that? And the guy said, no, it's not anything deep. There is actually a frying pan I have in my house that I've measured with the size of this bucket. Whatever cannot enter this bucket cannot enter my frying pan. So that simply means whatever you've not created room for, you cannot receive. What differentiates a self-employed? Another thing that differentiates a self-employed from a business owner, right, is capacity. He creates room for more. Whereas a self-employed wants to do everything. Only him is marketing. Only him is doing delivery. Only him is doing bookkeeping. Do you understand? A business owner has created room for more. And you don't have to wait till the more comes. You just create room for more. It's not till the more comes before you want to create room for it. The reason why I say that is because for some of you, you're still expecting a particular amount to come before you begin to stretch out your business. Employ the first person. Employ the second person. Employ the third person. I tell you, the more you have more hands on deck, the more energy you will have to do more. This is how I teach it. There are 3 things you need to do. Focus, find, fix. Focus, find, fix. First of all, you focus on what you can do that nobody else can do like you. So, who can I use as an example now? Ashley, your focus in your business should be about generating ideas for business. How should it look like? Not the logistics, not the bouncers that will be there. Are you following me? Because in a bid to do everything, you end up doing nothing. In a bid to do everything, you end up being excellent at nothing. Have you seen Jack of all trades that is excellent at all? You've heard the quote, Jack of all trades, a master of all is a lie. You can't be master of all. It's not possible. It's not possible. It's not possible. So, we have to all understand, right? We have to all understand that capacity is the period where we need to begin to look into ourselves to now figure out what I have. You see that the teaching is actually exciting us. Are you processing it or is it getting boring? It's actually exciting because I want to be sure. Alright. Capacity helps you creatable, right? To be able to receive. So before you own 10 staffs, you need to own first one staff first. Right? It's from one staff you go to 2 staff. From 2 staffs you go to 3 staffs. And then you enlarge and then you become bigger. So capacity helps you ask the question, what? What do we need to focus on? What do we need to know? What do we have to do? And capacity helps you create strategy. Helps you figure out the strategy. Strategy. Very simple. Strategy. So we started by saying curiosity. Next we went to capacity. Then last but not the least. But not the least. Audacity. Say audacity. Which one is your favorite? Audacity. You can have curiosity, have capacity without audacity. 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 Audacity is what gives you the energy. Whereas curiosity helps you ask the question why, capacity helps you ask the question what, audacity helps you ask the question how. How? So I'm not bothered about why. I'm not bothered about what. I just want to know how. How? Oh yeah, what's the next thing to do? And if you've been around me for a while, you should know that that's the one I love the most. I don't want to hear all the explanation. Let's just get it done. The explanation it solves nothing. How? Alright, what is the next line of action? How are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? And these 3 things would help you become unconventional. Sorry, excuse me, in thinking. And take note, last thing I say. Remember we titled it unconventional thinking. Every point I gave here, it's about asking yourself a question. Because before you think, you ask. It's asking that will lead to thinking. And that is why all of these points are questions. I tell you, questions are what every greatest answers or every greatest response we had was as a result of questions. And that is why I'm not asking you to do any other thing. I'm not asking you to do any other thing from this teaching than ask yourself questions. I tell you the truth. I'm not asking you to do any other thing than ask yourself the questions. Why? Because if you become better, your business will become better. If your mindset becomes better, your vision becomes better. So you ask yourself the question why. You ask yourself the question what, and then you ask yourself the question. With that, we've come to the end of unconventional thinking. Thank you so much.